Why do people fall victim to fake Johnny Depp and Simone Mendes shots? It draws attention to situations where people become emotionally involved in a virtual environment and end up being duped by con artists who use false pretenses, typically those of famous people and artists, to seduce, manipulate, and steal money. These situations have been documented on the internet. This week, the case of a musician who, despite not suffering financial harm, dumped his wife after falling in love with Simone Mendes and believing that he had been communicating with her for 3 years came to light. In reality, the musician had been duped by someone who had created a false account for the singer with 600 million followers in order to pass themselves off as the singer. In another recent instance, a woman from Osasco lost $208 million after believing she was in love with actor Johnny Depp at a distance. The Viso host spoke with relationship expert Margaret Signorelli to better understand why so many people fall into the clutches of alienataries and suffer financial and emotional harm. In the majority of cases, Signorelli points to the following factors: concern, a lack of information, a low sense of self, and insecurity. The expert claims that the current scene regarding the country's emotional health also raises a warning in this regard. Around 186 million Brazilians experience anxiety. What places the nation at the top of the global list, according to the Organization for World Health, OMS. In addition, a study found that 86% of Brazilians had an emotional disorder in 2019, earlier than the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Margaret, the pandemia, which brought about social isolation and a stronger stimulus for virtual interactions, also had a role in this kind of situation. People have never felt this isolated. Even though they were at home with their family, they felt more isolated than ever before. They even felt the lack of human interaction as they waited in line at the grocery store, which also affected their emotional state, according to the author. This is the case of the Osasquense aposentada who sought redress for financial injustice in court. In the proceeding, the defense claimed that the client was emotionally fragile due to pandemic and desired to experience a better life. What the tornado would have as an easy target for the elator. She arrived at a car dealership to sell a vehicle in order to pay the golfer. However, there were no financial consequences when it came to the musician who split from his wife after falling in love with Simone's impersonation. However, the situation may have shown another issue, according to Signorelli. Someone won't finish a wedding because someone is demanding a lot of photos and making a lot of promises. C separates because the relationship is unhealthy, not because of another person. When it comes to social networks and virtual relationships, according to Margaret, people must be constantly vigilant. It is important to understand that, regrettably, these crimes will continue to be committed. And the trend is for that increase to continue as das Coisa automation advances, warns. A profissional destaca queo trocar mensagens com alguém, foi necessário tomar alguns cuidados e não se impressionar como número de seguidores, por exemplo, como é o caso do perfil falso da cantora Simone, com 600 mil. In his comment, Signorelli notes that it is now easier than ever to purchase a social media profile that is full of followers, but that even in this situation, it is still possible to tell what is true by looking at the account's engagement rate, among other things. Margaret explains that identifying a salada is not that difficult. Want to meet someone? Liga, carry on the conversation. Deleta you te ver. We'll meet up somewhere public, orients. If you have a leg behind, if no one you know can identify the person, you need to respect your intuition, says a doctor. Studying the life of the alleged pretender, learning about his past, getting to know his parents and other close relatives, and not being satisfied with just what he says are all vital, according to Margaret. I don't mean to leave us doubting everyone, the speaker emphasizes. Speaking with a trusted friend or relative can help you avoid falling victim to gulps of love, or identify them, according to the specialist's final, but no less significant advice. Share the history with someone, because people are often so vulnerable and frail that they may not be aware of what is happening, the speaker suggests. A professional defends the significance of talking to someone by pointing out that many women only realize they are in an abusive relationship, for instance, when they recount some circumstances that reflect violence toward a friend. Avoid isolation and don't keep things just for you. Even if the person you are virtually conversing with demands confidentiality, explain the situation to someone who is not present. If the person is genuine, real, and the feeling is accepted, profit will be yours. If not, do as you will.